Hello everyone! So for this video, ikakwento ko lang kung paano kami nagsimula or paano ako nag-start sa aking permaculture journey at yung pinaka-journey ko as a farmer. So, but before that, kung kayo ay interested to learn more about permaculture, tapos mga practices on sustainable farming, please make sure that you follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, paano po ba ako nagsimula? So, it all started, ang kwento niya, nagsimula pa in 2005. Okay, so medyo matagal na po. Pero yung kwento na yon, hindi pa ako nagsimula mag-farming noon. I guess yung seed was planted during that time when my late father, told me na, sabi niya, ba kasi bamboo ang nickname ko sa mga kamag-anak eh. Actually, dito sa aming barangay, Barangay Ilayang Bukal, tawag sa akin dito bamboo. Ayun ang aking nickname. So, sabi sa akin ng father ko, ba, yung idol natin na property sa Tayabas, simulan mo na. Kasi yung mga kapatid mo wala namang interest sa farming. Ewan ko ba bakit naisip ng father ko na interested ako sa farming kasi wala naman akong in truth during that time wala naman talaga akong interest sa farming. Entrepreneur ako, I'm into digital marketing. Ang hilig ko kumain. So wala akong hilig magtanim. Pero I guess yung time kasi na yun, I just got married, tapos starting a family, starting a new business, busy with so many projects. Sa madaling salita, ang dami ko lang excuse. So, hindi ko pa po sinimulan. So, after so many years, that was 2005, then nung dumating ng pandemic, 2020, dun lang ako nagkaroon ng opportunity simulan yung farm. Bakit? Kasi merong oras, maraming oras in fact, kasi during that time, syempre alam naman natin, as you've experienced, lahat online, trabaho, online, pagbili ng mga kung ano-anong mga pangangailangan sa bahay, online, pagbili ng pagkain, especially was online. So, nagkaroon din ako ng opportunity na bumiyahe papuntang Tayabas kasi kailangan magbayad ng $1 million during that time. Then I got this inspiration. Sabi ko, pwede kong simulan yung farm kasi can bring my work with me. Bit ko lang laptop ko, meron namang signal, and I can work from wherever basta merong may internet connection. So, sa madaling salita, I ran out of excuses kasi yung excuses ko during that time, hindi na excuse during the pandemic. So, parang sabi ko, parang kasalanan na to kung ipagpaliban ko pa. So, sa madaling salita, sinabi ko sa father ko, pa, simulan ko na yung farm sa Tayabas. So, he was very happy with that decision kasi it's been his lifelong dream to jumpstart this idle farm of ours. Kasi po ito, matagal na idle na coconut farm. Hindi naman namin napapakinabangan, so I decided to start it. So nung nagsimula kami November 2020, that was the height of the pandemic. Buti na lang I had this idea to get a certification from the local barangay, certifying na ako nga ay nagsisimula mag-farming dito sa Tayabas. Kaya madali ako nakakatawid ng checkpoint kasi during the pandemic ang agricultural industry is in full operational capacity. So kailangan patawirin nila yung mga magsasaka. So ako, maski baguhan na bagito na magsasaka, nakakatawid ako ng Tayabas, nakakapunta ako dito in spite of the travel restrictions. So nung nakita ko tong property namin, Actually, wala akong makita. Kasi puro sukal siya. Merong mga nagsisitaasan na na nyug na hindi na masungkit sa sobrang taas. Sobrang delikado rin naman na akyatin kasi sobrang taas na. Kasi itong mga nyug na to, tanim pa po ng ng great-grandparents ko. So, medyo tawag nila yung tulisan na siya. So, na yon, kumbaga hindi na ganun ka-productive. Ang recommendation nga, in fact, during that time is palitan na. So, since wala akong background into farming, sabi ko, gusto ko lang muna makita yung terrain, itsura ng property. Hindi ko magawa yon ng sobrang sukal. So, what we did, nilinis po muna namin initially. And yung paglilinis namin na yon, hindi naman pwedeng mechanized, dapat mano-mano. And it took us like a few weeks, mga 3 weeks if I'm not mistaken, na para malinis yung yung 2.2 hectares na farmland. And after namin nilinis, hindi na siya yung linis. Just enough para makita ko lang kung ano itsura ng property. So meaning ni-retain namin yung mga puno, ni-retain namin yung mga primary vegetation, yung mga ibang weeds, yung mga bugging, yung mga nagbablock ng view, mga nagbablock ng daan, tinanggal namin. Pero I made it a point na lahat ng major trees walang puputulin para ma-maintain yung yung biodiversity. Wala pa akong idea about permaculture during that time. In fact, wala talaga akong idea about agriculture in general. So, ganun, ginawa namin. And when I saw the property, it was parang hill siya. So, walang patag na area. So, hindi ko alam kung malulungkot ako, matutuwa ako, pero it opened up parang new idea. Sabi ko, this is something that I can work with. Maski ganito yung terrain. Pero what's good about what I saw during that time was the view. Lumabas ngayon yung view kasi this property of ours is in Barangay Ilayang Bukal in Tayabas. And Barangay Ilayang Bukal is right at the foot of Mount Banahaw. We're about 430 meters above sea level. So, ang nakita ko, after nung maglinis, yung view ng whole Tayabas Bay. Kitang-kita yung Tayabas Bay, kitang-kitang Lucena, ang bayan ng Tayabas, kitang-kita pati ang Pagbilao, yung power plant doon sa Pagbilao, kitang-kita. And on the other side, of course, ang majestic view ng ng Mount Banahaw. So, at that time, sabi ko, sige, sisimulan ko. So, what I thought, sabi ko, maganda simulan kong tamnan muna ng mga trees na wala na dito. So, marami akong tinanim na mulawin kasi yung mulawin ay isang magandang puno daw na dito, na endemic dito, na wala naman ako nakikita na. Pero sabi sa akin ng mga matatanda, noong time daw dito maraming puno na mulawin. Kaya marami akong tinanim na mulawin. Sabi ko, ibabalik ko lang muna yung mga puno na pinakinabangan ng mga aking mga ninuno. So after ko magtanim ng mga forest trees, hindi lang naman mulawin or mulave yung tinanim ko. Marami rin ako tinanim ng mga native forest trees. And in between, tinamnan namin ng mga fruit trees. Starting with fruit trees na naturally kinukultivate na ng mga locals dito. So that includes yung lansones, langka, mangosteen, kakao. Yun. Yung mga first batch of fruit trees na tinanim ko. Siyempre, nagsingit-singit na rin ako ng mga iba't ibang mga fruit trees na gusto kong kainin. After namin magtanim ng trees, sabi ko, anong gagawin ko ngayon? It would take a few years bago mamunga itong mga puno na to. Sabi ko, sige, magtatanim ako ng mga gulay para pag may konting harvest, may uuwi ko sa Maynila. Nung time na yon, it was clear to me and convinced na ako na organic ang magiging approach ko to farming. Wala akong background in organic farming, pero alam ko for a fact na organic food or organic vegetables is syempre healthier. And syempre yung in terms of commercial value, mas mataas ang value niya. So sabi ko, I'll use yung organic approach in the vegetable farming that I'll be kumbaga starting. So naganap ako ng trainings, and so I was quite fortunate na na-meet ko si Alice sa Yumis Farm. And Yumis Farm kasi sa TESDA accredited na farm school. So doon ako nakakuha ng scholarship in organic agriculture production. So nag-aaral ako doon. And that's how I earned my NC2 or National Certificate in Organic Agriculture Production. So that opened up a lot of kumbaga learning opportunities for me. Na-meet ko mga iba't ibang mga members ng community who are into organic agriculture. Also, started attending so many trainings, not just online, but also yung mga trainings na provided by the government, by the LGU, by the Department of Agriculture. Specifically yung training arm nila na ATI or Agricultural Training Institute. Ito yung training or learning na department ng Department of Agriculture. So with ATI, I took a lot of mga courses on farming, and kumbaga doon na-open up yung yung consciousness ko on what are the possibilities, what's the potential that I can capitalize on. So through ATI also, I got accredited as a learning site for agriculture. So medyo nag-advance ng konti, So balik tayo do sa when I started the vegetables. So when I finished my NC2, my training on organic agriculture production, sabi ko, ano kaya ang pwede kong itanim dito? Marami akong puno, marami akong space in between the trees. So sabi ko, I'll do intercropping. Nagtanim ako ng maraming sili. Kasi, ewan ko bang, during that time, ang tumatakbo sa aking isipan. Kasi sili, mataas ang value. Okay? Remember nyo, there was a time na umabot for as high as 1,000, 1,200 ang isang kilo ng sili. So, ang ginawa ko ngayon, nagtanim ako ng katakot-takot na sili. Imagine nyo yung 2.2 hectares na property na puno ng, syempre, mga seedlings sa tinanim ko na puno. In-intercrop ko yun ng sobrang daming sili. Hindi ko na mabilang kung ilang tray na seedlings ang sili yung tinanim namin. Nabuhay naman lahat, naka-harvest naman kami. Pero ang masakit na learning experience doon was yung management. Since organic ang namin, ang practice namin in agriculture, bawal mag-spray. Hindi maganda kasi sa lupa ang mag-spray ng herbicide. So syempre kung hindi mo i-manage yung weeds, ma-overtake nila yung mga main crops namin, which is sili at that time. And dito po kasi sa namin, sa aming barangay, we're very much blessed with a lot of rain. In fact, ang rainfall dito sa aming barangay, since we're located at the foot of Mount Banahaw, which is a rainforest, ang average rainfall dito based on statistics yung mga previous years, more than 50% of the year umuulan dito. So, maraming ulan, maraming tubig, which is a blessing. I'm not complaining. Pero dito sa lugar namin, mas matagal yung time na umuulan. In fact, mas marami yung instances na sasabihin mo na sana umaraw naman. Kesa yung mga times na sasabihin mo na sana umulan. So, maraming tubig. And in between, syempre, after ng ulan, araw. ganyan. So, like, ang weather ngayon, maaraw ngayon, pero later this afternoon, uulan po yan. Sigurado ako uulan yan mamaya hapon. So, ganun ang weather dito. Ulan, araw, ulan, araw, ulan, araw. And kapag ganyan ang ganyan ang climate, gustong-gusto ng mga weeds yan. Gusto-gusto ng mga, ng mga damo. So, ang bilis tumubo ng damo. So, for us to be able to manage all these weeds, mano-manong gamas. So, imagine, 2.2 hectares, pag nagsimula kami sa isang kanto, maggamas, by the time matapos namin yung buong property, simula na uli kami dun sa starting point. So, I think parang more than 6 months yata na puro gamas lang ang ginagawa namin dito sa, sa property. And what I noticed, maliban doon sa, doon sa gastos, parang hindi maganda sa lupa yung, kasi yung gamas namin, labas talaga yung yung lupa. Natutuyo yung lupa, parang namamatay siya, nagka-crack. There are times din na natutuyo din yung mga yung mga sili. So, mas intense pa yung pagdidilig, yung pag-aabono. So, sabi ko, there must be a better way of managing weeds. And kumaga farming in general. Siguro, at the time I was looking for an approach na organic, but at the same time, yung hindi magastos. I was looking for, parang a more sustainable approach to farming na lesser ang energy utilization, less ang manpower, less ang ang gastos in terms of inputs, but at the same time productive. And because of that, kumbaga that need, I started doing a lot of research online. That's how I came across permaculture. So permaculture pala is is what I was really looking for at that time. Kasi with permaculture, you're building not just a farm, you're creating a system pala, a system that that takes care of itself. Very much similar to natural ecosystems. Like the forest, for example, sa gubat, 'di ba? Hindi ka naman nagdidilig. Wala namang naggagamas. Wala namang nagfe-fertilize sa forest ecosystem. Pero very healthy ang mga halaman. Very diverse ang ang ecosystem, not just for plants but also for animals. So sabi ko, I'll start I'll start learning about it. I consume as much content as I can, videos, nag-download ako ng mga free downloadable reading materials on permaculture. And para syempre to complement yung yung aking knowledge about permaculture, kasi very new. That's very new to me. Very new ako to farming, very new ako to permaculture. Kaya dapat matuto. So I know for a fact na isang magandang way to learn, aside from syempre consuming all these online materials, syempre is to, number one, to connect with with people who are into permaculture, and number two, to get formal education also. I came across an introductory course in permaculture in Batangas sa Javier Permaculture Farm and campsite, si Ann Javier. Hello, and shout out pa, So, she organized an introductory course in permaculture, and this was facilitated by Bert Peters. So Bert Peters is a veteran permaculture practitioner and educator. He's a Belgian, okay, pero I think mas matagal na yata siya na nagstay dito sa Philippines, more than 30 years if I'm not mistaken. Pinoy na Pinoy. Medyo confusing nga kasi pag nakita nyo siya, puti, tapos diretso magtagalog. So I learned my first got my first formal education in permaculture through this introductory course with Bert. And with that, after that 2 day na 2 days or 3 days? 3 days pala. Kasi 2 nights. Tama ba 2 nights? Hindi, sorry. Overnight lang pala. I learned the basics, the fundamentals of permaculture. I met like-minded people who are new to permaculture also and want to expand their knowledge in permaculture. Sa kataon din si Bert, siya yung one of the founders ng Philippine Permaculture Association. Yung association ng permaculturists here in the Philippines, and sila yung nagfa-facilitate nung tinatawag na PDC or yung Permaculture Design Course or Permaculture Design Certificate Course. Nagkataon, meron ding upcoming na course parang 2 months after the introductory class that I attended. So nag-attend ako noon, nag-sign up ako, nag-attend ako, paid the fees, made sure that I block my schedule for that program kasi more than yung financial obligation for that course, mabigat yung yung schedule kasi it's a week-long stay in learning program. So we stayed in a farm in Cabiao, Cabiocid, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. So nandun kami for 1 full week. Binagyo pa kami nung nagstay kami doon. Pero that's where I learned yung basics of designing a site using permaculture principles and techniques. Doon medyo kumbaga I was able to piece things together. Ang isang magandang realization ko when I took my PDC or yung permaculture design course is that even before I started learning permaculture, even before I came across permaculture, yung concept, I was already practicing bits and pieces of permaculture. Doon ko rin na-realize yung mga things na ginagawa ko that is not in alignment with the principles of permaculture. So when I say na piece ko together, kumaga mas naging siya, sensible. It made more sense yung mga ginagawa ko. Because this time, mas may structured guidelines na ako or framework na sinusunod in applying permaculture dito sa farm na dinidevelop ko. So, nagkaroon na ako ng master plan. Hindi na yung kumbaga kung ano lang maisip. Meron akong master plan na naka-layout na everything. How I'll be applying the different permaculture principles and strategies sa farm in the next 3 years. So, 3 long year na program siya. Yung dinevelop ko. So, yun. When I finished that course and returned to the farm, I was very excited. Siyempre, started applying all those learnings that I got from the PDC. And I saw at that time na this is something na a lot of farmers, a lot of landowners should learn. And whenever somebody asks me about permaculture, I was very parang enthusiastic in sharing it. Then came the inspiration. Sabi ko, I wanna share this passion of mine, this new learned passion of mine in permaculture to as many people as I can share it to. And buti na rin na kumbaga the farm has been accredited by ATI as a learning site for agriculture. Dito sa farm kasi we teach, we host mga benchmarking learning experiences, learning activities for yung mga farmers who are learning organic farming. So, sabi ko, hindi lang ba sa organic farming ang gusto kong ituro dito. Gusto kong ituro yung mas sustainable approach to farming, to land management. And ang solution dito is really to incorporate yung permaculture learning experiences sa farm. So, I don't feel at the time na qualified to teach permaculture. Ang pwede ko ituro syempre kung ano yung alam ko, ano yung natutunan ko, at ano yung mga pinapractice ko. So to add some credibility to my effort in sharing and teaching permaculture, I started to look for more advanced training programs. Syempre online ang una kong tiningnan. And I was quite fortunate to have been chosen to receive a scholarship from the Oregon State University for an advanced course in permaculture. It was a short course but a very intensive program. It was a 6-month program, purely online kasi hindi naman ako makakapunta ng Oregon. I didn't have the resources naman to do an on-site advanced permaculture program with this established university in the US. So, ginrab ko yung opportunity na yun, saved me a lot of money in terms of enrollment fees. And went through the program. Tinapos ko yung 6 months, and I still worked on this farm as my final project. It was very intensive to the point na yung final design portfolio project was parang 160 slides long. Learned so much from that experience. In fact, more than the learning, it gave me the confidence to share and to teach permaculture to all the farmers and all the farmer wannabes who are interested in permaculture. So since then, after that program, I was able to conduct up to 3 na introduction experiential course in permaculture. Of course, we hosted it here in the farm. So that's how I started my permaculture journey. Marami pang mga kailangan gawin dito sa farm. I won't say that that the farm is 100% kumbaga mature permaculture system. Marami pang kailangan ayusin. But I would say I'm happy where the farm is right now in terms of kumbaga sustainability. Profitability medyo malayo pa, marami pang enterprises ang kailangan i-develop. Siguro for a different video I'll be sharing also kumbaga the different enterprises that the permaculture farm can get into. But in terms of siguro ang isang malaking achievement that we were able to accomplish in this farm is in the field of in the area of food sustainability or food security. Kasi dito kahit saan ka pumunta paikot-ikot ka sa farmland dito, marami kang makukuha na edible na mga halaman. Hindi ka magugutom dito, wag ka lang choosy. And yung mga guests that we are entertaining here, we serve them fresh food, food that we foraged from the farm. So around 80% of the food that we're serving here talaga galing lang dito sa property na to. So talking about guests, we have evolved also into a farm tourism destination here in Tayaba City. So Merong mga pupunta dito na they stay here for the night just to experience yung farm living. Mga buhay bukid na na farmcation. Iba nang pupunta dito, magpi-picture lang with nature. Yung iba magpi-picnic. There are instances na merong mga guests kami pupunta dito na wala namang gagawin, tatambay lang, hihiga lang sa duyan or sa hammock. Lalanghap na sariwang hangin. Kasi hindi na very common ang sariwang hangin during this time, especially dun sa mga urban areas. So we've evolved into a farm tourism destination, and I wanna maximize that opportunity in spreading the seeds of permaculture to the guests that we host here. So yun, that's my short story. I hope you learned a thing or two about what I shared. And if you have any questions about permaculture, feel free to send me a message, send me an email. I'll be sharing my email address in the description and also in the channel description. We'll be conducting a few other training programs, more of which are kumbaga learning, experiential learning approach dito sa farm about permaculture. So if you wanna get updated, if you wanna learn more through the videos, don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your friends para they too can learn about permaculture. So yun lang po, maraming salamat.